And we are back. And Don, we've got something special now.
We sure do. You know, when Tina Miller and I started this show 1 year ago, really, the last show, the first person who ever came on our air to give good words for the coming week and words of encouragement out there was just a giant of a man and a great guy named Angelo Frazier. And Angelo's with us today, a year later. Angelo, what do you got for us for the world today?
Well, first thing I want to say is thank you for allowing me to come on, Don. It's been great to know you over the years, you and Tina and Bob. And the ABCs of opening up. The ABCs of opening up. Number one, ask questions. You guys are professionals at asking questions because when you ask questions, everybody learns. So A, ask questions. B, be positive. See, being positive, you can even deal with difficult situations. Being positive, because negativity is the cancer of motivation. And the last one would be care to care. What I've seen over the years, Don, and knowing you and Tina and Bob, you guys care about what you're doing. You bring those topics to light. It is exciting to watch. So the ABCs of opening up. If you want to open up, you want to see how it's done well, ask questions. I got a chance to listen to the judge, ask questions. I was in court a little while ago, got a chance to be on the trial. I love the fact, the way how lawyers ask questions. Open things up, everybody learns. They were positive. Be positive, you attract more people. And C, lastly, care to care. I can tell that knowing you guys, that you care about what you're doing. You care about the conversation. You care about Bakersfield. You care about what's going on. And so I love that. So the word of the week is the three things about opening up. Ask questions, be positive, and care to care.
Boy, Angelo Frazier, thank you. I want to just take a minute and build on that. At the Bakersfield Business Conference one year, I got to be backstage with Peter Jennings. We actually cut a commercial together. And what I was so impressed about Peter, I don't think Peter ever went to college. Right. But of all the people that were there, all the stars, all the big names, Peter Jennings was the only one who showed up early, had a notepad, and took notes on every speaker that came to the microphone out there. And that really impressed me, that he was there to learn, not just to talk. And what a good model for the rest of us.
Well, that's exactly what Angelo was just talking about, isn't it? Yeah. And I need to say, Angelo, one of the best ball players that this city. I mean, I'm telling you, I've played with him out in the playgrounds and in the gyms, and.
And you came away uninjured?
Well, no, I can't say I came away uninjured because he's still Angelo.
All right,
he's a heck of a ball player.
Wow.
Well, let's get back to Judge David Lampe.
You bet.
Your Honor. When I was growing up, I was taught that the judicial system, as one of the branches of our government, was there strictly to interpret the law, and that politics didn't play in to the judicial system. Now, as I've gotten older, I realize that that's not really true. As we've seen appointments that have been made along party lines and so on and so forth, at the local level, the state level, the national level, we've seen that. What are your thoughts on the politicization of the judicial system? And then the follow-up question for me is, at some point, do you have political aspirations?
I disagree that the judiciary is politicized. I know that's a popular point of view, but I do not find that truly to be the case. It is true that judges are appointed by executives that come from different parties, but for the most part, I see a judiciary in our local community as well as throughout the judiciary that's really attempting to follow the law. Now, what I do see is philosophically there has been a trend toward diminishing what we call the common law, and I could spend hours talking about that, and I won't do that, in favor of statutory law. And you have legislatures that are partisan, that are more and more trying to dictate down to the minute detail of how individual cases are managed in court, which essentially hamstrings the judiciary a great deal, because When we are confronted with the statute, it is our duty to try to enforce it. So I think most judges do not bring their personal political points of view to their decision making. I said when I became a judge, how do I manage this? How do I manage the conflict that is inherent in an adversary system between plaintiff lawyers and defense lawyers and between prosecuting attorneys and defense attorneys? It was real easy. I just said to myself, always make sure you follow the law. The law's out there, you just have to find it.
One of my concerns, Your Honor, is that the judiciary is to be free and independent of all other branches of government. And yet, as I see the national security state swelling and in many ways replacing the American Republic, all the guys, the men in suits come in a case and they tell you this whole body of evidence is national security. You can't present it. You can't listen to it. The kind of evidence that would exonerate the person that's on trial, and yet that evidence it can't even be considered. I see that happening more and more. That concerns me. Any thoughts about that?
Well, I do agree with you that the judiciary is there to arbitrate, these disputes, and I can't make a particular comment because it's that neutrality as a judge that prevents me from making any specific comment. But I do agree with you that a stronger judiciary is actually the guard against that, a judiciary committed to what I would consider to be the common law principles.
It just seemed to me that in many cases the judiciary just rolls over when the executive branch sends in the suits and tell them you can't consider this evidence. That
may be the impression, but I think that's really not a charge against the judiciary as much as it is looking at the actual statutes and legislation that create any such system.
Okay.
Your Honor, but aren't appointments made, even at the presidential level, when you look at the Supreme Court, along philosophical, political lines?
Well, there's no doubt that politics plays a role in the actual appointment process, but I think it means more to the appointer than it does to the appointee.
So you don't think the appointee has anything beholding? You're not beholden to those who put you in that place?
I'm sure there's some presidents and some governors that wish that the judges they appointed felt beholden, but I really don't. I know judges. I am one, and I really think for the most part, judges devoutly do try to follow the law.
Political aspirations down the road. Do you have any?
Well, I'm close to retirement. No, I don't really.
Well, not
have.
really not in political years. You're not.
Well, no, not really. I'm committed to the people of this community to be their judge until I do retire, and I'll probably stay here doing some private adjudication and some mediation work at the time of my retirement.
We've got about 2 minutes. Judge Lampe and I were talking before this program about it came as a shock to me, showing my naivete about how the judicial system works, that the California Department of Justice really is not interested, will not consider any new evidence that has come forward that might exonerate someone who's already been convicted. All that office is there to do is to uphold prior convictions, not to overturn them. And Judge Lampe was very encouraging to me. There are other places to turn when new evidence comes forward that no one else will consider. Tell us about those programs.
Well, one thing you can rest assured that there's always someone on the opposite side of any legal dispute. There's no shortage of that. I see that all the time. It's understandable that an office like the Attorney General, I can't comment, I don't know what their policies are, but they are advocates. But there are equal advocates. I know there's a it's called Project Innocence or the Innocence Project.
Yes, those.
Yes, and I know Stanford University is involved in that, Stanford University Law School. I think my alma mater, Santa Clara University, is involved in that and has had some success in bringing forward new evidence in criminal convictions and successfully exonerated people.
Well, David, Judge, Your Honor, I think this program has really shown we are very privileged to have you on the bench here in Kern County. It was a wise appointment to put you on the bench. Bob, great being with you. And
Always good
We
being
hope
with you,
Tina will
John.
be back from the Carolinas and family business next week. And we leave you wishing you God's best and have a great week.